The Valorian Collective was the most advanced civilization in the entire universe. For 10,000 years, they had moved through the stars like gods, bending physics to their will. They could reshape planets. They could create weapons that destroyed entire star systems. They had conquered everything. But on this day, in the Great Council Chamber of Valorian Prime, something strange happened. The greatest minds in the galaxy felt fear. Ambassador Kale stood before the council. Kale was made of pure crystalline energy, a being that had lived for 8,000 years. The ambassador's form shifted and pulsed with blue light as the words came out. The message was clear and simple. Every single ship sent to the blue planet called Earth had vanished. Not one survivor. Not one distress signal. Nothing. The council members shifted in their seats. They did not understand this thing called silence. The Valorians knew every weapon in the galaxy. They knew every threat. They had catalogs of dangerous creatures and civilizations. But Earth was different. Earth was unknown in a way that made them uncomfortable. Kale presented the data that had been collected. Valorian probes had circled the planet for months. The cameras showed creatures that called themselves humans. These humans were small and weak compared to most advanced species. They lived only 80 to 100 years. Their bodies were fragile. They could not survive in space without artificial protection. By every measure, they should have been simple to understand. But the humans were not simple. The surveillance images showed humans doing things that made no sense. Humans would run toward danger to protect other humans. They would give everything they possessed to feed their children. They would sing songs and paint images and write stories about things that did not exist. They would stand in front of weapons that could kill them, refusing to move because they believed in something. They called this belief honor or love or sacrifice. The Valorians had no word for these things because the Valorians did not experience them. One council member named Vex leaned forward. Vex had destroyed 17 hostile civilizations. Vex had studied war for 3,000 years. Vex asked a simple question. Why did the humans kill the Valorian visitors? The answer was unclear. The surveillance showed that Valorian soldiers had landed near a human settlement. The humans had immediately attacked them. But the humans had no weapons that should have been effective against Valorian armor and shields. The humans had used primitive tools and their own bodies. They had thrown themselves at the Valorian soldiers like they did not care if they died. One human had walked toward a Valorian plasma cannon. The cannon could have destroyed the entire building. The human did not run. The human did not hide. The human walked forward while other humans screamed at the human to run. The human was protecting something. The surveillance showed that there were smaller humans behind this one large human. Young humans. Children. The human charged the cannon anyway. That image showed something that the Valorians could not explain. The human knew it would die. The human ran towards certain death anyway. And it seemed to be smiling. Kale explained that all the Valorian ships had been destroyed by humans acting in this same way. They would attack without fear of death. They would sacrifice their own soldiers to protect others. They would refuse to surrender even when escape was impossible. The Valorians had never encountered a species that fought like this. The Valorians fought because they wanted to survive. Humans seemed to fight because they wanted to protect something else, even if it meant they would not survive. The council was silent. Then Vex spoke again. Vex said that this made humans very dangerous, not because they had superior weapons, but because they did not follow logical patterns. They were unpredictable. They were chaos, and chaos could not be controlled. The council voted unanimously. Earth was now a forbidden zone. No ships would approach. No attempts at contact would be made. Every civilization in the galaxy would be informed that Earth was dangerous and must be avoided. The warning would be simple. Something deadly lives on Earth. Stay away. Commander David Harris of the United Nations Space Force received the transmission that night. The message came from the Galactic Network through an old Valorian relay station that Earth had found 10 years before. The words were clear, and they were terrifying. Do not leave your world. Do not attempt to reach the stars. There is something on your world that we do not understand. If you come to us, we will not be able to stop it. Stay on your world. Stay there and do not come here. David read the message 3 times. He was not a young man. He had served in the military for 40 years. He had seen conflicts and struggles. But he had never felt fear like this. Not because the message threatened Earth, but because it did not threaten Earth. It was a warning. A species that could destroy worlds was afraid of Earth. That meant Earth contained something worse than they did. David went to the United Nations. He brought the message to the leaders of all nations. The governments met in emergency session. The message was released to the world. Within hours, every human being on Earth knew that something in the universe feared humanity itself. Every person on the planet looked up at the night sky and wondered, what had humanity done that could frighten the gods? The answer was simple. Humanity had been human. Humanity had chosen to protect each other. Humanity had refused to surrender. Humanity had shown that life was worth more than survival, that sacrifice was worth more than safety, and that there were things worth dying for. The Valorians had not understood this thing called humanity, and because they did not understand it, they feared it. Earth waited. And in the darkness of space, the greatest civilization in the universe tried to understand what it meant to be afraid of something that lived on a small blue planet. They did not have the answer yet, but they would soon learn. Dr. Caroline Wright had spent her entire life studying the ocean. She was a marine biologist, and she had done research on the deepest parts of the Pacific. Caroline was not a young woman anymore. She was 53 years old, and her hands were rough from years of work. But she still loved the ocean more than anything. The ocean was her home. Caroline was on a research vessel 500 kilometers from the coast of Japan. She was studying deep-sea creatures when her equipment detected something strange. A large object was sinking through the water. The object was not from Earth. Caroline knew this immediately. The shape was wrong. The material was wrong. Everything about it was wrong. She brought the object to the surface using specialized equipment. It took 6 hours. The object was 7 meters long and made from a metal that Caroline had never seen before. The metal seemed to be almost alive. It moved slightly even though nothing was touching it. There were symbols on the surface of the object. The symbols were organized in patterns that looked like writing or a code. Caroline called the United Nations immediately. She told them what she had found. Within 24 hours, military vessels arrived. Captain Marcus Cole came with them. Marcus was the head of Earth Defense Operations. He was a tall man with gray hair and a serious face. Marcus was a soldier who had spent his life protecting Earth. Marcus examined the object carefully. He brought engineers and scientists with him. They worked for 3 days trying to understand what the object was. On the 4th day, one of the engineers named Derek found something. There was a small panel on the side of the object. The panel could be opened. Inside the panel was a small crystal. The crystal was different from the rest of the object. It seemed to glow with its own light. When Derek touched it, the object suddenly came to life. Lights blinked on all over the surface. A voice spoke from the object. The voice was not human. The voice was cold and mechanical and strange. The voice said, "This is Valorian Explorer 1. All systems are failing. All crew members are dead. Primary objective, not achieved. Secondary objective, not achieved. Tertiary objective. Failed. Encounter with unknown species. Species designation. Human. Species behavior. Unpredictable. Species threat level. Maximum. Conclusion. Immediate evacuation recommended. Conclusion. This species is more dangerous than any known civilization. All future missions to this planet must be cancelled. This species must be studied from maximum distance only. The recording continued. It showed log entries from the Valorian soldiers. The entries were visual. Marcus and Caroline watched as the Valorian soldiers explained what had happened to them. The soldiers had landed in a remote area of Asia. They had sent out probes to study the humans. The probes were discovered by local humans. The humans had attacked the probes' at first. The Valorian soldiers had been confused. The humans had no weapons that could damage their technology. The humans had only basic tools and their own bodies. But the humans had kept attacking. They had worked together. They had communicated with each other using sounds and hand signals. They had created strategies. When some humans died, other humans came and took their place and kept attacking. The Valorian soldiers had tried to retreat, but the humans had followed them. The humans had not tried to capture them. The humans had not tried to take their technology. The humans had simply tried to destroy them. The soldiers did not understand why the humans were doing this. There was nothing to gain from attacking the Valorians. The humans were clearly losing. They were dying. They were suffering, but they did not stop. One soldier named Dex described what he saw. Dex said, "I have studied 143 different civilizations. I have never seen a species that fights like this. They are not fighting for resources. They are not fighting for survival. Something else is driving them. It is something beyond logic. The humans are willing to die. They are willing to sacrifice their own kind." One human was injured. Other humans carried the injured human away from the fight, even though this reduced their fighting force. Why would they do this? Protecting an injured member makes the group weaker, not stronger. Dex continued, "I am now convinced that humans do not follow the same rules as other intelligent species. Their behavior cannot be predicted using known mathematical models. I recommend that this species be classified as extremely dangerous and all contact should be avoided." The final log entry was from the commander of the mission. The commander was named Sora. Sora said, "All ships are destroyed. I am the last Valorian on this world. I can see the humans coming toward my position. They are injured and tired, but they keep moving. I could destroy them easily with my remaining weapons. But I am leaving. I am running. I do not understand why I am running. A Valorian does not run from inferior beings. But I am running anyway. Perhaps it is because I am afraid. And I have never been afraid before. I do not like this feeling. I do not understand it. I will fly away from this planet and I will never come back." The recording ended. The crystal went dark. Marcus and Caroline looked at each other. They did not speak for a long time. Finally, Caroline said, "The universe is afraid of us." Marcus nodded slowly. He was trying to understand what this meant. Somewhere in the galaxy was a civilization so advanced that they could destroy entire star systems. And they were afraid of Earth. They were afraid of humans. Marcus called the United Nations again. He told them everything. He told them about the Valorian recordings. He told them that the most advanced civilization in the galaxy had decided to never come back to Earth again because they were afraid of humans. He told them that this fear had somehow spread to the entire galactic community. Every advanced civilization was now avoiding Earth. The news spread quickly. Within days, every human on Earth knew that an alien species had come to Earth and had been attacked and destroyed by humans. Humans did not know what Valorians looked like or where they came from. But humans knew one thing. When they were attacked, they fought back. They did not run. They did not hide. They did not give up. And this simple thing, this basic human instinct to fight and to protect each other, had somehow frightened every advanced civilization in the universe. The sky above Earth suddenly seemed smaller and emptier. The stars seemed to be watching. And something had changed. Earth was no longer unknown. Earth was no longer isolated. Earth was now known as the world where something deadly lived. And no one in the universe wanted to find out what that something was. Marcus held the Valorian crystal in his hand. He looked at it for a long time. Then he gave it to Caroline. He told her, "We need to understand what we are. We need to understand what makes us so dangerous that an alien species would rather die than fight us." Caroline took the crystal. She looked at it and saw her own reflection in its dark surface. She saw the face of a woman who had spent her life loving the ocean, loving life, and loving the world she lived in. She did not see a killer. She did not see a monster. She saw a human, and apparently that was enough to frighten gods. The transmission came from deep space. It was not a message of war or conquest. It was a request for dialogue. The Valorian collective wanted to talk to humans. They wanted to understand what made humans so dangerous. They had decided to send one observer. The observer would come in a heavily shielded ship. The observer would stay in orbit above Earth. No weapons would be brought. This was an act of peace. The United Nations agreed. They knew this was a chance to understand the galaxy. They knew this was a chance to learn about the universe and the civilizations that lived in it. They selected one human to represent all of humanity. The selected person was Professor Elena Rodriguez. Elena was a linguist and a diplomat. She was 50 years old, and she had spent her entire life learning languages and understanding different cultures. Elena was brought to the orbiting ship. The ship was enormous. It was 10 kilometers long. It was made from a material that seemed to bend light around it. When Elena stepped inside the ship, she felt like she was stepping into another world. The gravity was different. The air was different. Even the light was different. Elena was brought to a large chamber. Inside the chamber was Kale. Kale looked like a human at first, but Elena realized very quickly that this was not the case. Kale was made of pure crystalline energy. Kale's body was transparent and blue, and it pulsed with light. Kale looked like a living crystal. When Kale spoke, the voice came from everywhere at once. Kale said, "I am the observer sent by the Valorian Collective. I have come to understand your species. My mission is simple. I must determine if your kind is truly dangerous, or if my species has made an error in judgment. You will teach me about humans. You will teach me about your culture and your behavior and your thoughts. In exchange, I will teach you about the Valorian Collective and the galaxy beyond your world." Elena nodded. She was not afraid. Elena had studied many different cultures and many different ways of thinking. She believed that understanding was the key to peace. She believed that if she could help Kale understand humans, then there might be no conflict between Earth and the rest of the galaxy. They spent days talking. Elena explained everything. She explained language and art and music and literature. She explained that humans made things that served no purpose except beauty. She explained that humans painted images and wrote stories and created sculptures just to share with each other. She explained that these things had no practical purpose. They did not help humans survive. But humans made them anyway. Kale asked, "What is the evolutionary advantage of creating unnecessary art?" Elena said, "There is no evolutionary advantage. We create art because it makes us happy, because it makes us feel less alone, because it helps us understand who we are." Kale processed this answer. Kale asked many more questions. Kale asked about human food. Elena explained that humans ate food for survival, but they also prepared food in special ways and shared it with people they loved. They made celebrations around food. They fed other humans, even when they did not have enough food for themselves. Kale asked, "Why would you give your own food to another human when you need that food for your own survival?" Elena said, "Because that person matters to me. Because I love them. Because it would hurt me more to see them suffer than to suffer myself." Kale did not understand this concept. Kale had never experienced love. Kale had never experienced the desire to put another being's needs before your own. Kale was very confused. Then Elena explained family. She explained that humans created children. The parents would spend 20 years caring for these children. The parents would give up their own dreams and their own safety to protect their children. The parents would be willing to die to keep their children alive. Elena said, "When I was a child, my mother was very sick. My father spent every day and every night by her side. He did not work. He did not sleep. He did not eat very much. He just wanted to keep her alive. In the end, my mother died anyway. But my father did not stop loving her. He carried that love with him for the rest of his life." Kale's light pulsed rapidly. This was a sign that Kale was experiencing something. Kale said, "This is illogical. Your father's actions did not change the outcome. Your father's actions did not change the outcome. Your mother died anyway. Your father wasted time and energy that he could have used for his own survival." Elena said, "Yes, but he would do it again. We all would. Because some things are more important than logic. Some things are more important than survival." Kale asked Elena to show Kale a video of human children. Elena showed Kale videos of humans holding their babies and playing with their children. She showed Kale videos of humans teaching their children and protecting their children. She showed Kale a video of a human woman giving food to her child, even though the woman was very hungry. Kale became very quiet. Kale said, "I am beginning to understand why my species is afraid of you." Elena asked, "Why?" Kale said, "We are afraid of you because you are capable of something we are not capable of. You are capable of caring about others more than yourself. You are capable of sacrifice. You are capable of love. These things make you unpredictable. These things make you dangerous. A species that is willing to die for something other than itself will do things that cannot be calculated or predicted. You would fight enemies that you cannot defeat. You would protect people, even if it cost you your life. You would never give up because you are not fighting just for survival. You are fighting for something more. And we do not know what that something is." Elena began to cry. Not from sadness, but from understanding. She understood that humans were different. She understood that humanity had a strength that no technology could match. She understood that the most powerful civilizations in the universe were afraid of this strength because they did not have it. Elena said, "We are not trying to be dangerous. We are just trying to be human." Kale's light pulsed slowly. Kale said, "That is exactly why you are so dangerous. You cannot help but be what you are. And what you are is something that my species does not understand and cannot control. Perhaps the Valorian Collective has made a mistake in trying to avoid you. Perhaps we should be trying to understand you instead." Elena looked out the window of the ship. She could see Earth below. She could see the blue oceans and the green land. She could see the place where all humans lived. She could see the world that had created something so special that the universe itself was afraid of it. She said, "Then help us. Help the galaxy understand that we are not monsters. Help them understand that we are just trying to live and love and protect each other." Kale said, "I will try, but I am not sure they will ever understand." Because understanding requires experiencing love, and most species are not capable of that. Elena nodded. She knew that Kale was right, but she also knew that the attempt was worth making, because that was what humans did. They tried. Even when success seemed impossible, they tried anyway. The Valorian Collective made a decision. They would send a fleet to Earth, but this fleet would not come to destroy. The fleet would come to test. They would test if humans were truly as dangerous as they seemed. They would create a situation where humans would have to choose. They would see if humans would break under pressure. They would see if humans would surrender or if they would fight. The test was called Extinction Event 7. It had been created by the Valorian scientists, and it had never been tested on a living world before. The weapon was released above a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. The island had no human settlements, but it was close enough to human populations that the spread of the weapon could be monitored. The weapon was a living thing. It was a biological organism created in Valorian laboratories. The organism ate all organic matter. It did not matter what the organic matter was. It could eat plant life or animal life or human flesh. The organism reproduced very quickly. One organism could become 1,000 organisms in one day. The organism could survive in water, in air, and in soil. Scientists had calculated that if the organism was released on Earth, it would consume all life on the planet within 6 months. The Valorians waited to see what humans would do. The organism spread from the island very quickly. Within 24 hours, it had consumed all life on the island. Everything was gone. All the plants and all the animals. The island looked like a dead rock floating in the ocean. The Valorians watched to see if humans would run away or if humans would try to fight. Instead, humans did something unexpected. Humans ran toward the danger. Scientists from all over the world traveled to the area. Dr. Lucas Thompson was a young virologist who specialized in infectious diseases. Lucas was only 32 years old, but he was one of the smartest scientists on Earth. When Lucas heard about the organism, he came immediately to a military research facility on the coast of Japan. The facility was a fortress made of concrete and steel. The scientists worked inside the facility. They worked without stopping. They worked for 30 hours without sleep. They worked without food. They only stopped to drink water. Lucas looked at samples of the organism under every microscope available. He studied the structure of the organism. He studied how the organism reproduced. He studied how the organism consumed other organic matter. Lucas realized that the organism had a weakness. The organism was perfect at eating organic material, but it had a fatal flaw. It could not reproduce without a specific chemical compound. The compound was very rare, but Lucas knew where to find it. The compound was produced naturally in the body of a specific type of deep-sea fish. Lucas told the military commanders about his discovery. The military sent ships to catch the deep-sea fish. The ships sailed into waters that were dangerous and cold. The sailors knew they were working on a deadline. If they did not find enough fish quickly, all life on Earth would be destroyed. They found the fish. They brought the fish to the laboratory. Lucas extracted the chemical compound from the fish. Then Lucas created a counteragent. The counteragent was a virus that would attack the extinction event organism. The counteragent would destroy the organism, just like the organism destroyed other life forms. The military released the counteragent over the island. The counteragent worked. The organism began to die. Within 48 hours, all of the organism was gone. The island was still dead, but the threat was gone. The extinction event was contained. But the Valorians had seen something important. They had seen that humans would come together in the face of extinction. They had seen that humans would work together across all nations and all governments. They had seen that humans would sacrifice their own safety and their own lives to protect other humans. The Valorian leadership decided to do one more test. They told the humans that they had released the organism. They told the humans that the organism had been created by the Valorians. They told the humans that the organism could not be stopped. They told the humans that the Valorians were superior and they would conquer Earth. Now that Earth was weakened, the Valorians expected the humans to surrender. They expected the humans to beg for mercy. They expected the humans to fight in a desperate and disorganized way that would lead to their defeat. Instead, something unexpected happened. Elena Rodriguez was brought to a communication station. Elena spoke to the Valorian leadership. Elena said, "We have analyzed the organism. We have created a counteragent. We will share this counteragent with every civilization in the galaxy. We will teach every other species how to defend against this weapon. We will do this freely. We will ask for nothing in return. Because if you could create this weapon, then other civilizations might also create this weapon. And if other civilizations create this weapon, then all life in the galaxy is in danger. So we will share what we have learned." The Valorian leadership did not understand this response. Elena had every reason to keep the counteragent secret. Elena had every reason to use the counteragent only to protect Earth. Elena had every reason to demand payment from the Valorians for the information. But Elena was offering to give the counteragent away freely. Kale spoke to the Valorian leadership. Kale said, "I now understand what we were afraid of. We were afraid of humans because humans are capable of helping their enemies. Humans are capable of putting the safety of other species above their own safety. Humans are capable of ending conflict through cooperation rather than conquest. These are the qualities that make humans truly dangerous. Not weapons, not technology, but compassion." The Valorian leadership realized that they had made a terrible mistake. They had tried to break the humans with extinction. Instead, they had shown the humans that they were willing to kill innocent life. And the humans had responded not with anger or revenge, but with compassion. Humans were offering to help the Valorians. Humans were offering to teach the Valorians. Humans were offering to make the galaxy safer for everyone. Kale told Elena, "Your species has defeated us. You have defeated us not in battle, but in spirit. We came to destroy you. You responded by offering to help us. And now we do not know what to do." Elena said, "You can choose to be better. You can choose to understand us. You can choose to stand with us instead of against us. That is what humans do. We give others a chance to change. We give others a chance to be better." The Valorian collective realized that this was true. Humans were willing to give even their enemies a chance to change. And this willingness to believe in the potential of other beings was more powerful than any weapon in the galaxy. Kale returned to Valorian Prime. The journey took 3 weeks. During this time, Kale prepared the report that would change the course of galactic history. This report would explain to the Valorian collective that their understanding of the universe was incomplete. This report would explain that they had been wrong about what made a civilization advanced. The Valorian collective convened for the reading of the report. The greatest minds in the galaxy gathered to hear what Kale had discovered on Earth. All of the council members were present. Vex was there, the war strategist who had wanted to destroy humanity. Ambassador Kale stood before them and told them the truth. Kale said, "We have been measuring advancement by the wrong standards. We measure advancement by technological capability. We measure it by how much power we can control. We measure it by how much we can destroy. But this is not what makes a civilization truly advanced. What makes a civilization truly advanced is what they choose to do with their power. The humans on Earth are not the most advanced civilization in the galaxy by our traditional measurements. But they are advanced in a way that we are not. They are advanced in their capacity for compassion. They are advanced in their capacity for sacrifice. They are advanced in their capacity to choose mercy over vengeance. Kale described what had happened when the Valorians had sent the extinction event organism to Earth. Kale explained that humans had discovered a cure. But instead of using the cure only to protect themselves, humans had offered to share the cure with the entire galaxy. Humans had offered to teach every other species how to defend against a weapon. Kale said, "We came to them with destruction. They responded with cooperation. We tested them with extinction. They responded with compassion. And now I understand why we were afraid of them. We were afraid of them because they represent something that we are not. They represent the potential for a civilization that is not driven by the desire for power, but by the desire to help." Vex interrupted. Vex said, "You are saying that we should abandon our quest for power?" Kale said, "No, I am saying that we should ask ourselves why we want power. The Valorians want power so that we can survive, so that we can control our environment, so that we can protect ourselves. But humans want power for a different reason. Humans want power so that they can help others. Humans want power so that they can protect those they love. Humans want power so that they can create beauty and share it with others. This is a different kind of power than what we have pursued." Another council member named Sorix asked, "What do you recommend that the Valorian collective do with this information?" Kale said, "I recommend that we change the warning. Instead of telling the galaxy to avoid Earth, we should tell the galaxy to learn from Earth. We should invite the humans into the galactic community. We should offer them a seat on the collective council. We should learn from them what we have never learned before." The council was silent. Then Vex spoke. Vex said, "If we do this, we will be admitting that we are not the most advanced civilization in the galaxy." Kale said, "Yes, we will be admitting that. But perhaps this is something we need to admit. Perhaps this admission will make us better." The vote was held. The Valorian collective voted to reverse the warning. Earth was no longer forbidden. Earth was no longer dangerous. Earth was now recognized as equal to every other civilization in the galactic community. Earth was invited to join the collective council. The message was sent to every civilization in the galaxy. The message said, "The planet called Earth is no longer off limits. The planet called Earth is no longer dangerous. The civilization on Earth has been found to be worthy of respect and cooperation. All civilizations are invited to open diplomatic relations with Earth. All civilizations are invited to learn from Earth's example of compassion and cooperation." The message was received on Earth. The leaders of all nations gathered to hear the news. For the first time, Earth was not isolated. For the first time, humans knew that they were not alone in the galaxy. For the first time, humans understood that what made them special was not their weapons or their technology. What made them special was their capacity to care about each other and about the universe around them. Elena Rodriguez and Kale stood together in Kale's ship, looking down at Earth. Earth looked beautiful from space. The planet was blue and green and white with clouds. It looked peaceful. It looked alive. Elena said to Kale, "Thank you for understanding us." Kale said, "I did not understand you. I still do not fully understand you. But I have learned that understanding is not the goal. The goal is to accept what is different and to learn from it. Humans are different from us. Humans experience emotions that we do not experience. Humans create meaning that we do not understand. But these differences are not dangerous. These differences are beautiful." Elena asked, "Will the other civilizations accept us?" Kale said, "I do not know. But I know that they will try. Because we have shown them that it is possible to try. We have shown them that it is possible to put aside fear and prejudice and learn from others. Some civilizations will accept this lesson. Others will not. But Earth has changed the galaxy, and the galaxy will never be the same. They continued to look at Earth. They could see the sunlight reflecting off the oceans. They could see the continents where billions of humans lived their lives. They could see the world that had created something that even the most advanced civilization in the universe could not fully understand. Kale said, "I have lived for 8,000 years. In all of that time, I have never experienced something new. I have never experienced something that I could not predict or calculate. But humans are new to me. Humans are unpredictable. Humans are full of surprises. And for the first time in 8,000 years, I understand what it feels like to wonder about something. I understand what it feels like to be amazed by something. This is what humans call wonder. And it is a very powerful feeling." Elena said, "This is the beginning of something new. This is the beginning of a new relationship between humans and the rest of the galaxy." Kale said, "Yes, and I believe it will change everything. Because humans have something that no other civilization has. Humans have hope. Humans believe that the future can be better than the present. Humans believe that they can make a difference. And this hope is contagious. If humans can share this hope with the rest of the galaxy, then everything will change." The sun rose over Earth. The light filled the space around the ship. And in that light, Elena saw the future. She saw a universe where civilizations worked together instead of fighting each other. She saw a universe where compassion was valued as much as power. She saw a universe where the greatest achievement was not conquering worlds, but understanding them. And it had all started because humans refused to give up. It had all started because humans chose to protect each other instead of abandoning each other. It had all started because humans believed that there were things worth dying for. The universe's most advanced species had finally understood that the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy was not technology or power. The most dangerous weapon was hope. And humans had it in abundance.